What's up, crew? Welcome back to Libertalian Game Supply, and as I'm sure you all have seen already, Konami has given us brand new Googly-Eyes Drum Dragon support. Now, if you've been looking into how to build this deck with that new support being released, I'm sure you've come across that FTK a couple of times. Everybody's talking about it, and well, it's pretty cool. This deck can also do that. It does something better, and I'm going to show it to you right now. So this is the list I'm working with at the moment. Now, some of these ratios may end up being tweaked over time. I might try out some of the other gimmick puppets. I don't think I'm all the way sold on Magnet Dial just yet, but we'll see in time. For now, this is what we got going on. I'll give you a quick look-see at all of the cards just in case. Now, this deck is perfectly equipped to be able to pull off the FTK. And if you were wanting to win games, then that's probably what you would do because the deck does that pretty well. You only need either the Mansion or the Soldier, and you got the FTK right there unless they can hand trap you somewhere. But I'm not interested in winning all the time. I'm interested in winning some of the times and with the big boy himself, Googly-Eyes Drum Dragon. So what this deck is designed to do is to pump out an OTK that uses the Googly-Eye Drum Dragon for that final swing for game. And I'm going to show you how we do that right now. Now, if you had seen my previous version of the Googly-Eyes OTK with gimmick puppets prior to the release of this stuff, I posted it not too long ago actually, that also required 3 cards, 2 of which were not particularly searchable, and so this trio is way more reliable to get a hold of, and really it doesn't even need to be these 3 specific cards necessarily. You need to have the Soldier or the Mansion, and then anything else can be good enough potentially depending on what other extenders you have in your hand. But for simplicity, we're going to say you have the 1 Bisque Doll, the 1 Soldier, and the 1 Cattle Scream in your hand. We're playing 3 of all of them for that reason in this version of the list. And we'll get going right away here with the Bisque Doll effect. We'll discard the Cattle Scream to special summon the Bisque Doll. We'll then use our first normal summon to summon the Little Soldiers. Little Soldiers effect's going to activate. We'll Foolish Burial the Dreary Doll to the graveyard, making the Soldier a level 8. And then we'll overlay for the Fanta 6 Machina. Machina is going to use its effect in order to detach 1. It has to be the Bisque Doll because we're going to have to banish it for the Dreary Doll before the Soldier is in the graveyard, and so we don't want to banish the Soldier. We need that later on. 6 is going to go ahead and search for us the rank up spell, and then we're going to use that rank up spell right away to make the Fanatic. Fanatic is going to go right on top of 6, and then it's going to get that search on summon. We'll grab the trap card, the new trap card, Service Puppet to steal things if you don't get the OTK, but Googly-Eye doesn't fail us. We're then going to use that Cattle Scream from the graveyard to summon itself by detaching 6 as material from Fanatic. And then we're going to banish that Bisque Doll that we set up earlier to put Dreary Doll on the board. And then we're going to overlay with those 2 to make the number 40. We're going to use the rank up spell out of the graveyard, its own effect, to put it back in the hand. Then we're going to use the number 40 effect to put one of our string counters on our Fanatic. And then when this effect resolves, it'll also put a string counter on all of your opponent's monsters, so long as nothing is set. If you have a set monster that is on your opponent's board, you're going to have a harder time pulling off the OTK, but it's still doable. The way I'm showing it to you right now is 9,600 total damage. If you have to clear something, you probably can still get a good chunk of that with options to get a little bit more in there depending on what you're facing. Next, we'll use that Fanatic effect. We're going to put the Cattle Scream on their board, and then we're going to immediately use the Fanatic effect on that summon to pop the Cattle Scream, put it back in our graveyard, and burn our opponent for 1,000. We'll use our rank up spell one more time on the number 40. Number 40 is going to turn into number C40, the Dark Strings. On this summon of Dark Strings, we're going to go ahead and trigger the effect of 6 in the graveyard as well as the effect of Dark Strings on the board. So Dark Strings will pop everything with a counter on it, a string counter on it. So that's our own monster plus whatever they have. And then it's going to burn for whatever has the most attack in life point damage. So 3,100 is probably going to be a safe bet most of the time. So that 6 will then be able to summon itself from the graveyard to the board. It doesn't have a counter on it. And then this effect to pop everything with a counter will resolve after we get our rank up back to our hand. Fanatic is going to get destroyed, and then we're going to draw a card and burn for 3,100. So they're now down to 3,900 life. I know you can't see it because of where I've decided to put my beautiful face, but they're down to 3,900 now, and the board should be clear. If not, like I said, we have a way to get around that here. This card that you draw is irrelevant. If it's something good, then you can extend a little harder, but you don't really need to, so future turns if this doesn't work out for you. We're going to use that rank up spell for a 3rd time on our 6 in order to make a number C15. So now if they have a monster that is set, C15 can pop it, burn them for that damage, and now the board is clear unless they had multiple set monsters, which I don't think a deck really does currently, unless I am mistaken in that. At this point, you should be more than good, though, if you were able to clear that thing. If you didn't need this, like the board was already empty, then don't summon it. You don't need to. Because right now, we're going to use both of those monsters in order to link summon our Chimera Doll. Chimera Doll is going to use its effect on the board to search us a Gimmick Puppet to our hand. We want the Terror Baby, and we have another normal summon because of 6's effect. Now, remember, this is a blank card. We just happen to draw it. If you wanted the special summon here of a different monster, you could take it. Don't do it on the Terror Baby because this only happens on the normal summon. So we're going to skip that effect and we're going to normal summon the Terror Baby. Terror Baby will give us the effect to special summon one out of the graveyard. It has to be your Cattle Scream. You need the Soldier in the graveyard to banish to make the baby an 8. You need to leave the Dreary in the graveyard because it can only be used to make Gimmick Puppets, and that is not what we're going for. Cattle Scream's going to hit the board, and then we're going to use the Little Soldier in the graveyard, making our Terror Baby an 8. We'll overlay with our 2 level 8s to make the Googly-Eyes Drum Dragon, and this is where the game ends. They're at 3,900. We can use the Googly-Eye effect to detach 1, bump them to 4,000 attack, and now we're more than good. So 1,500 here with the Chimera Doll, 4,000 here with the Googly-Eyes Drum Dragon. They're at 3,900 life points, so we have done 9,600 damage here, not counting the C15, and we'll just let it play, finish it up. Googly-Eyes for game. Now, I'll be realistic here. I am aware that this is probably not the most efficient way to play the deck, but it is the best way to play the deck. Happy deck building. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Goodbye.